Hi, thank you so much for joining us. I am Alechia Reese, founder of the Girl Rethought Project, and this is the Women Leaders Project.
Hi, I'm Evita Kaigler, music attorney, owner of law offices of Evita G, Kaigler, and this is the Women Leaders Project.
So now, everyone knows we are back again with our 2015 honorees, and I am so incredibly excited to be here in finally sunny Atlanta.
Yes.
The last time the sun did not shine too well for me, but I'm so glad to be here. And now, you guys know what we're doing. We are showing you how to achieve success by deciding to date, and I don't mean each other. Do you decide that what you want is what you'll have simply because you're willing to work for it? A, acquire the knowledge that it takes. Once you have that knowledge, you're gonna have to take some action. T, tackle every single obstacle. And then E, every day do something. So we are going to hop right into it. So now, you have done some pretty amazing things in your lifetime.
Thank you.
I know you feel you have a lot more to go, as every successful person does. But now, how is it that you decided, so you've represented some of the major music industry individuals, how did you get to that point? What was the defining moment for you?
Well, as a music lawyer, I always like to tell people how I even got here. People say, oh, you're a music lawyer, that's, it's very sexy, it's all this and the third. And what I like for people to realize is that I do what I do because I love the music. I'm here because of my love with music, and my love with and for music stems from, my childhood. It's one of my first loves. It's a love that has carried with me throughout my years. And so earlier on in my life, I wanted to be on the performing side. Singing, dancing, twirling, writing, all of the above, and I still do those things to this day. Except for at home, in my own privacy of my own home.
It's okay, me in my shower.
Yes, it's a concert every morning at my house, and it's a good concert. So I pursued that. I moved from Detroit to Atlanta when I was 15, 16, and at that point it was the LaFace era. Everybody had the same thing in mind. Everybody wanted to sing, dance, write, twirl, all of the above, and I found myself interacting with the music space a bit, but not really feeling fulfilled in the sense that at home music was mine. It was already mine. Like, I belonged to it belonged to me, but out in the world I had to compete for it. I had to audition for it, and essentially what it was is, I was a kid that was being introduced to the music business and the music industry, and I didn't understand it, and I didn't know how to navigate it. So I began to read books about the music business, all you need to know about the music business, how to, make an album, how to get signed, all of these things. And the book that I read, All You Need to Know About the Music Business, that really stuck with me, was written by a music lawyer. And people said, this book is the Bible of the music industry. This is a book that you need to read. It really is all you need to know about the music business. And I still have the original copy. I think I have it over here. And I also buy all the new editions just to get the book. So I read it, and what I understood was that the person who wrote the book was a music lawyer. I don't know what this is, but I want to know what it is. And I did my research on it, and I said, okay, well, I'm good at school. Let's do this. It seemed that the attorney who wrote the book was very necessary to the music space, and that's all I really wanted. The performance end was what I gravitated towards, because when you like music, you see your favorite artist, maybe your favorite producer, your songwriter. So you're like, well, that's what I want to do. But I found another capacity that could fulfill me, and I could still be a part of the music space in a way that was necessary. And I didn't feel that from a performance end. I made that decision when I was 17. I got the book when I was 17, and that was the path through undergrad at the University of Georgia, through law school at Emory Law, and then when I started my own practice in 2006.
That is excellent. I never would have thought that your love for music as a child is actually why you became a lawyer. Because most people don't equate the two.
Nope.
At all.
No.
At all. Okay. So then now, I know you said you acquired knowledge even before you got to college by reading that book. What are some of the other things that you did while in school to learn as much as you could about the industry, about how you wanted to play in the industry? What are some of those things?
Well, One of the things that I really did was I studied the music space. I believe, what makes me a solid lawyer. Is, of course, I do good contracts, I do good deals, but because I understand the space, I'm able to really shape the deals in the best interest of that particular client. If you don't know the space, the culture, how people create, what they're saying, what the trends are, what people are listening to, what the deals are, the emerging technology, and all of these things about the space, you're going to be limited in what you can do on behalf of your clients. So while I was in school, I would read the Billboard magazines, I would buy all the albums, I would read the liner notes in the CDs. I was really a student of the culture. Candidly, though, I didn't know how I was going to become this music lawyer. And I still have, I guess you would call them rejection letters. In my college years, I would send notes and resumes to all the local music lawyers that I would read about. And they would actually send me letters, and they'd say, Miss Kaigler, we reviewed your resume and we admire your ambition, but there's no position here for you. And I still have those letters. And I just didn't know how I would go about it. And even when I went to law school, I still wasn't clear on how I would get there, but I knew I had to go to law school.
Yes.
I knew I had I had to get a law degree, and I wanted to be in Atlanta, so Emory was a great choice for me. But it wasn't until my third year in law school where I met another music lawyer, and he said to me, listen, we know you're smart, but what are you going to do to get your foot in the door? And all of a sudden I felt like an artist, right? We know you have talent, but what are you going to do to get your foot in the door? And I didn't realize that I had to think about that, because in my mind, when I graduated from law school and passed the bar, because I loved it so much and wanted it so much and worked so hard for it, there was no reason why Jay-Z and Puff and all these people would be calling me.
I'm ready.
Right? In my mind, that's how it was going to work. I just never doubted that. But there were a couple more steps that I had to do. So once I had that conversation with the lawyer, I began to call somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who knew someone, who knew a producer who was doing very well at the time. I had to sit down with him, and then he told me it was kind of his path, and then I ended up calling a record label that he used to be with, all this stuff, and I ended up interning for them. And so it was just kind of finding a way to get in. So I interned at a record label my third year in law school, and I ordered lunch for them, and I ran the errands, and I say, hey, can I see your contracts?
Yes.
And so it was just, trying to figure out how to get into the space in addition to being a student of the space. And, and the funny thing is, I don't consider myself a big networker. People always say, you got to network, you got to network. Sure? I don't know. So I had to find ways to get into the space, and social media has been huge for me. But it was just lots of different ways that I tried to get into the space. But in law school is when I really got a hold of, okay, I can't just be a student. I have to also get into the space and meet the people.
You have to make yourself different.
Yeah.
I love what you did in that. You researched who was connected to who and who did what, where, and how I can do this. That is so key, especially when trying to grow and get to that next point. You did your research.
Yeah, gotta do your research.
I love it.
Gotta do your research.
I love it. So now, you just said in your mind,
yes,
as soon as you were finished, everyone's gonna call you up. Hey,
Absolutely.
What are we doing? Where are we going? Let's do lunch. I'm ready to sign your contract for you.
Yes.
So now, how did you tackle some of the obstacles that I'm sure were to come? Because for someone who's very, very bright, sometimes having to humble yourself enough to be okay with ordering the lunch, because I understand that I'm doing this today, but this isn't forever. So how did you tackle some of the obstacles that did come in growing into where you're at now?
Wow, there were so many obstacles. And I'd like to say it's something that I was able to solve overnight. But this was, years in the making, because I had several challenges. I started my own practice right out of law school, so I had to figure out how to be an entrepreneur. I had to figure out how to be independent. I had to figure out how to be a music person. I had to figure out how to be a lawyer. So I had all of these things that I needed to figure out. and I had no answers.
All in the same space.
All in the same space. I had no answers. I had no mentors. I had no blueprints.
Oh, wow.
You know, my parents are amazing. You know, they were my cheering squad. But as far as everyone else is concerned, it looks a little strange. It sounds a little bit strange. So you are graduating from law school. You're going to start your own practice as a music lawyer. And you have no resources. You have no money. You have no idea. You've got law school debt. What are you doing? And I guess those are valid questions. But for me, my vision was so clear. My vision was so incredibly clear, where I could kind of see the end point very clear. I just didn't have all the answers to get there. But I knew if I could see it, that it's real.
Yeah.
And I just have to do the work. It exists. I have to do the work. I have to do the research. I have to believe in my abilities to figure it out. So I wasn't necessarily prepared for the position that I was in, but I was prepared to figure it out. I believed in myself enough to get it figured out. And it was very tough for so many reasons, but you stay at it, you learn, and you go, and you get burned a little bit, and you get back up, and you acquire this knowledge, and then over time I begin to find my voice, my perspective, my impact, and my contribution in the music space. And you know, one of those things being education. I'm a big believer in education in the sense that, you know, if you're in this space and I'm in a position to empower you with information, I'm going to do that. And that has carried me so far, just that capacity. And it helps me to overcome the challenge of, you're a brand new lawyer. You don't have the privilege of saying you've been doing this for 20 or 25 years. Why you? Why do we trust you with our work and with our gifts and with our brands? It's like, okay, I understand that. Let me educate you.
This is what I can do for you.
If I'm working with you, I will educate you, because I believe when you're educated about something, you're empowered with information.
Agreed.
So if I'm giving you education and you're now empowered with information, you can make more of an impact in the music space, which benefits all of us. And I think that there is such a value in providing information, education to people, because there's so much to know, and a lot of people don't know it. You know, I know how to write, I know how to sing, I know how to dance, and I know how to do these things and do them well, but the business surrounding it, I have no idea, and I might be a little bit hesitant or a little bit afraid because I don't understand it. So, you know, if you're talking with me, I'm going to educate you, and I think if I'm not, I'm doing you a disservice, and I'm doing a disservice to the music space in general. Another piece of the brand is, as we talked about earlier, I am here because of the music. I am not shy about what my position is with music. I believe it is a gift. I believe it is a power. I believe it is a magic. I believe it is a love. And I want to honor that every single day, you know, in what I do. So I begin to build a brand, a platform for myself, where my message is, don't forget about the music. You know, don't forget about the very thing, the very reason why we do what we do, right? In the music space. So that is my position. So when things get challenging, I tell myself, you know, don't forget about the music. When my clients are going through things, hey, don't forget about the music. And it's a reminder, and that's my voice in the music space. And I think people are they're attracted to that, because you're in the music space. There's so much going on, but don't forget about the music, and that's my brand. So building that brand of education and not forgetting about the music, and really caring about my clients from a basic human fundamental level. These are people. I don't just, you know, do paperwork or manage the deals. I help manage lives and talents and gifts, and I don't take that lightly. I consider it honor, and I cater to that. So that is my brand, and I think it's packaged in a way where people say, you know what, you know that lawyer that says don't forget about the music, that one. You know, hey, that's me, the lawyer that's going to educate you, or that's doing the lectures and speaking, and having that brand has elevated me in a sense where I don't have to say I've been doing this for 20, 25 years. I've got this brand that is valuable, that empowers people, and people in the music space, they want that.
Yeah, I think in any space, what you're saying is extremely valuable. And it's so funny, without me even asking, you answered my, what do you do every single day? You don't forget about the music.
Don't forget about the music.
Would you say that that's what you do every single day to continue to perfect what you're doing and to get better?
Yeah, I mean, that's my daily reminder, because it's a what I do every day is challenging. I always tell people I don't consider myself any different than an artist, producer, songwriter, or any other person looking to have an impact in the music space. I just happen to be a lawyer. It doesn't make things easier for me, because it's a colorful space with all the same challenges and all the same concerns. And then on top of that, I do feel responsible for the clients that I oversee, and I want to make sure everybody's happy and everybody's good and comfortable, and everybody feels safe. So it's it's certainly challenging, but when I tell myself every day, relax,
you're good,
don't forget about the music,
don't forget it,
don't forget about the music. That is my daily reminder. I have not mastered it, but it is my go-to. This is the reason why I'm here for many years. This is my story from the beginning. The music. Now you're here. Don't forget about it.
I love it. So then, if you could essentially describe yourself, and I know as a lawyer this will probably be the hardest thing ever, in 6 words only, what would those words be?
6 words.
A phrase is fine also, but you can only 6.
Use a phrase. Okay. Love, spirit, gratitude, rebel.
Me too.
Rebel. Innovator. Badass.
I love it.
Badass.
I love it, and I have to agree. I must agree. So then now, as you've grown, and you have grown leaps and bounds, who are some of, I would say, your favorite, and we don't want to single anyone out, so maybe some of the more interesting people who you've worked with, who you've truly like enjoyed their journey in never forgetting about the music?
Oh my goodness. And we can't single anyone out, right?
No.
There's one particular client who I consider having started my journey with. I'd been practicing for several years, but he's one of the stories, one of the gifts, and one of the talents that I will forever be honored to be a part of his story, and that is Big Crit. I remember the first time I met him. I was a young kid, and I was still young in a sense, and no one knew his name, no one knew my name. And from a legal standpoint, there were some things that we had to get sorted out, and there were challenging things. And I remember just kind of the look on his face, and here he is, this amazing gift. And I was a fan from day one, because no one had known him, but I got access to some of his material, and I felt a sense of, I have to help him. I have to resolve this. I have to get this done. And I made him a promise. I said, I'm going to resolve this for you. And he left my office, he and his friends and his team at that time. And I remember praying, saying, Dear God, I don't know how I'm going to get this done, but I have got to get this done. And I believed in my ability to get it figured out.
And you got it done.
I got it figured out. And as his career grew, and the opportunities start coming his way, his loyalty, because I was young and people didn't know my name or my work, it was presented to him, hey, get another lawyer. I have another recommendation for you. And he said, no, I already have a lawyer. And he stayed with me, and we stayed with one another, and I've watched him grow. He's watched me grow. And just the loyalty, how he speaks my name to other people, being a trusted source for him. He's just an amazing gift to music and just an amazing person. I'm honored to be a part of that. The thing that I love about what I do that just really lets me know that I'm in my space and I'm where I'm supposed to be is when I see my clients perform. I love to stand in the back of the crowd, you know, whether it's Crit, whether it's Joy Badass, whether it's Sharon Benton. I love to stand in the back of the room and watch the crowd be fully engaged by my client who's on the stage. I get goosebumps, and sometimes it feels like everything is just kind of standing still, because I know the stories of the people on the stage. I know the hardships, the challenges, the great moments, the highs, the lows. I know the gifts and the talents, and I know the spirits. And to see people committed to that, knowing all the words, living for that moment, to share space and energy and time and music with my clients, and to witness that, I really don't have any words for, but every time without fail, I just feel this sense of, this is it. This is the music. Yeah. Don't forget about this. These are the reasons why. Or clients who are songwriters and producers, and I hear their songs, or maybe we do new kinds of deals, and just to know the work, know that they are being rewarded for their gifts and talents, and knowing that I'm playing a part in that. Those are the sweet moments for me. Those are the moments that remind me of, you know, all the work, all the long days. This is it.
This is why it's worth it. So then now, if you could say anything at all to your younger self, what would it be?
How young are we talking? To my younger self, there's always one word that comes to mind, and it's still a word that I tell myself to this day: relax. For me, because the vision I had was so clear at such a young age, I was very committed to making that happen. Putting one foot in front of the other, or spending a lot of time trying to figure out how to get there. So I was very focused. My efforts were very pointed, through college, through law school, all of my 20s. And I had this a perfectionist thing. And there was a saying that I heard, which kind of clicked with me, is that we are not made to be perfect, we are made to be whole.
Oh, yes. I love that.
And it was just, it really stuck with me because I felt like that was just for me. Trying to be perfect in the sense of, you want to be a perfect student, perfect lawyer, perfect daughter, perfect friend, perfect this, perfect that. And I think for the most part, when it came to my studies, it kept me very focused on the end goal. But you get to a certain point in life where it's too heavy. Yeah. Being perfect, there's no expectation for you to be perfect. That's something you put on yourself. It's self-imposed, and I've had that since I was a kid. My parents never put it on me. There was no expectation of perfection. I picked it up somewhere along the way, and I carried it on my back through my teens, through my teens, through my 20s, and it got to a point where it said, this is too heavy. I can no longer, commit to being perfect because I'm not getting that done. I want to commit to excellence. However that comes for me, it may look different each day, but if I commit to my best efforts every single day, I will progress. But I'm also making room for, to be overwhelmed sometimes, and that's okay. To feel challenged sometimes, and maybe sometimes even feeling a little fearful. I don't believe in living in fear, but we feel fear, and so as I feel this, how do I overcome it? But allowing myself to be and to feel on this amazing yet very challenging journey, allowing myself to be and to grow, and once I dropped that perfection layer and just relaxed, I became very free, so much peace, and each day it's like, all right, relax. Everything works out, and I know that to be true. Everything works out.
I love that.
Everything works out. I know that to be true. So to my, my 17-year-old self, my 22-year-old self, my 25-year-old self, my 27-year-old self, relax, kid. Relax. You're good. You got it. You got it.
I love it. So I do want to thank you so much.
Thank you
for joining us, and I want you guys to remember every single day to remind yourself, I am possible. Simply because you are.
Thank you.
path, and